seasons by their standards, and they both averaged their lowest points since their years as Thunder teammates, with Westbrook failing to reach 20 points per game. Harden was better in each major category besides field goal percentage. Would you rather have Russ or Harden on your team? Wendy, I'm going to start with you.
Well, I'm seeing Harden potentially take steps to address where he is in his career.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that from Russell Westbrook. I haven't seen it. And the new coaching staff in LA, led by Darvin Ham, is attempting to set some parameters for Westbrook. One of his big complaints, I got to tell you, when you go back and look at the things that Russ said the day after the season ended, his exit interview this year, people gave Doc Rivers a lot of flack for what he said about Ben Simmons the year before in that sort of exit interview, and it was used against him for months. That was a rational statement that Doc made. Some of the things that Russ was saying, in my view, were irrational. And to listen to those comments where he was blaming everybody for his failures, like I would not have believed that the Lakers could possibly bring him back. Not only did he blame everybody else, he took direct shots at LeBron and Anthony Davis. I mean, he shivved Frank Vogel, but everybody knew Vogel was gone. He shivved these teammates. So they're trying to bring him back and convince him to change. When I just heard him say a couple of months ago, it's not me that's got to change, you got to change. So to me, I think what the coaches are doing with Westbrook is saying, okay, here's the new rules. Follow these rules, and you can have a role. If you don't follow those rules, to the bench, or worse, to home. So I'm going to give Westbrook the benefit of the doubt, and we're going to see what he shows up in doing. But they came in, the first thing Darvin Ham said when he sat down there was like, Russ, here's what you're going to do. You're going to play defense. You're going to sacrifice. He said it for him. So to me, Westbrook hasn't shown any sign of conciliation. Harden, especially if he takes this contract, is showing me some signs of reconciliation. So, and not only that, Harden is younger, and even though he's not in the greatest shape, he's a much more dynamic player. I'd much rather have Harden, especially a guy who's willing to help me build my team.
Here's why I'm taking Russell Westbrook, and it doesn't really have anything to do with X's and O's and Jimmy's and Joe's. I guess I want to see him prove people wrong. And it's a hard pick. I'll be completely transparent here, because it doesn't make sense for me to say I would rather take Westbrook over Harden. But my heart wants him to succeed because so many people doubted him, and they continue to doubt him. And Russell Westbrook, Wendy, has not helped himself. He can be very, very Superman complex. I can cure things in a single bound because that's what he believes he has to do. Not just from an individual standpoint, but from a collective team standpoint. So I understand where his mental capacity is when it comes to that. But my heart wants to believe that he's going to figure this out and say, my way has not worked with this organization. Darvin Ham has said, here, to your point, here's your list, check it twice to make sure that you're going to be better and we're going to be better. I'm hoping that Russell Westbrook gets the message, because my heart wants him to get the message. Because Russell Westbrook, to me, signifies what draft picks are supposed to be. Where people say, you're not going to be this, you're not going to be that, and that guy became an MVP player, and nobody saw that coming from Russell Westbrook. I'm hoping that, as intelligent as he is, that he'll be able to figure that out, because my heart wants him to figure that out, because there's some good there with Russell Westbrook that if he allows that to come out and be more of a team player, that can make a major, major difference, not just for him, but for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Be a nice story.
Use it as fuel.
Westbrook is great on a team when he had the triple-double, on a team that's not that good. By his force of will and his competitiveness, they'll win 43 games.
That's fair.
That's what he'll do. Harden's got a better upside, and I'm picking poisons here, but I'll take Harden, because the two things that Westbrook can't do kills you in postseason. He can't shoot, and he turns the ball over like crazy. So in the fourth quarter of huge games, not Sacramento in January, I'm talking playoff games, he will not make threes because he's an inconsistent outside shooter, and you can't drive to the basket. Defenses are packed. They're not going to get you to the free throw line. And he turns the ball over like crazy. He's careless. So I don't love it, but you gave me Victoria the choice. I'll take Harden.
Well, who's going to have the better season, Lakers or Sixers?
I think you got to say the Sixers.
The Lakers have 6 players.
I know. I had to ask.
I don't have any idea what the Lakers are going to be. The Lakers could win 7 or 8 more games, which would be terrific. Any team would look to win 7 or 8 more games. They could win 7 or 8 more games and still not make the proper playoffs. They were 11th in the West last year.
Wow. Yeah, it's the Sixers. There's no doubt about that. And everybody in the West is going to get better.
Yeah.
Think about that. Memphis, I want to see how Memphis handles being the hunted instead of the hunter.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I want to see that because it's one thing to say that they're renting space in Golden State's head, where Golden State has 4 championships and you don't as an organization lately in the last 8 years. I want to see how they handle that. I want to see what Dallas is going to do with Jalen Brunson. That guy's going to exit that basketball team. It's going to be Luka and the Lukettes, how they're going to be able to make that work, although getting Christian Wood is a really good signing by the Dallas Mavericks. Here's another team, the Phoenix Suns. They won 64 games last year. Nobody's talking about them in terms of being a contender in the Western Conference. That's how deep the Western Conference. You go from a 64-win team to maybe a team that no one's talking about that can still make the playoffs. I want to see how that's going to work. Philadelphia, on the other side, at least they've been in the playoffs. They have a pedigree to know, okay, we know what has to work. And I wonder how much of this, gentleman and lady, how much can this be put on Doc Rivers? Because we can say James Harden is, Joel Embiid that, Maurice Thibault, Tyrese Maxey. Doc Rivers has got to be better in the playoffs lately than what we've seen. Yeah. He's got to be better coaching and making adjustments in the playoffs than what we've seen.
Thank you for watching ESPN.